So what's next for you in the Marvel? Like, what are you most excited to be driving forward on?
I'm pretty happy in general. Defenders launches right out of Fear itself, and it's me and Terry Dodson again, who I loved working with on Uncanny X-Men, and it takes a big kind of dangling plot thread from Fear itself and deals with it, and then launches these guys on this kind of crazy, very Marvel-centric adventure that's going to take them around all the different corners of the Marvel universe. It's a book like Marvel's never done a book like this before, and I kind of kept waiting to be told no, and no never came.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, we're about to get really crazy. Let's see what happens. We're about to get into it. So I'm psyched that Defenders is up and running, and Terry just finished drawing the first issue, so it's rolling right along. And
why the Defenders? That's one of those teams or parts of the Marvel universe. It's always like, oh, and then these guys just hung out for a while. And half the book is always like, I'm Darkhawk, and this is what I do.
It sort of was like the Island of Misfit Toys or whatever. Right. In this, it's very specifically, I kind of used the Defenders as the reason for the Defenders to exist. At the end of Fear itself, Hulk needs a favor. And the only people he feels like he can trust were the Defenders. So partially because he knows Doctor Strange feels guilty about everything that happened with the Illuminati. He knows Namor thinks he was screwed over because everything that happened with the Illuminati. And Silver Surfer's a space cadet who will be able to understand, pluses and minuses. So he goes to these people he can trust. Yeah, Quicken. Super great with Quicken, the Silver Surfer. People like the power, the Quicken cosmic.
He does his taxes right at the beginning.
What deductible is this to I, born to sail the cosmic winds? So... But Hulk needs a favor, and Hulk has to ask help for these only people left on Earth that he trusts, and that's the former Defenders. And in the as they are helping him, they discover a mystery. They discover this mystery, and part of the thing that makes it so perplexing is that it can cloud itself. You can't speak about it. The only people who know about it are the people who know about it. You can't tell anyone else about it.
Right.
There's this thing you need to be in the room with to understand. And so, they literally are defending us against this giant, impossible threat.
Right.
And they can't go for help because they can't express.
Explain it.
You can't go, because my thing with talking to Tom Brevoort as the book was coming together is I came up with this notion, what if this?
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean? Like, well, why don't you go to Captain America if that's your problem? Why isn't your first phone call to the Avengers? Like, well, what if they couldn't do it? What if part of the way it protects itself from being discovered, this insidious conspiracy, could cloak itself in your mind so you couldn't ask for help? And so it's that. So it's the only people who are in the room are the people who can deal with it. So they can't go for help. And there's actually a scene where Doctor Strange is asked, "Where were you guys?" And and he can't say it. It's like and everyone thinks it's just Doctor Strange being weird Doctor Strange or whatever, or it's Danny Rand being, Kung Fu billionaire Danny. He took one too many blows to the head, but they literally are being blocked, by the nature of this thing. And more will be revealed as you read it. But so it's a conspiracy book. There's a long story, and there's an overarching mystery. There's a long.
It's a long mystery.
The book is about that's some serious architect stuff right there. But yeah, so the chance to really dig in and do a book that Marvel's really never done a book like this. Like Tom Brevoort again is taking to calling it the Casanova Avengers. Like it's really out there. It's a chance to just kind of go crazy imaginative and just do something we've never done before and something I've never done before. So it's exciting and new. And I'm writing it Marvel style. Because I wanted to be uncomfortable. After this past year, I wanted to I'm never going to write like a press conference again. I'm never going to write TV screens informing about what's going on in other places. Like you start to get tired of your own crap, and so stripping all this stuff out. And I wanted to stay uncomfortable, so I'm trying it Marvel style, which I've never done before, and it's terrifying. So Defenders, I'm really excited about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Iron Man deals with all of the Tony got drunk during Fear itself, and it gets out. People find out about it.
That was when that happened in the book. It was one of those things where it was like, oh man, that's the one thing you can't do with an Iron Man comic.
We did it. We did it. Yeah,
and justified it in a way where it was like, oh.
And there was the kind of the grandiose heroic justification, but the real deal is no. He thought he was going to die, so he got drunk.
Right.
Like and I didn't want to do a story about Tony being drunk again. He got drunk once. He had one night. He had one binge. It lasted X hours, and that was that. I don't want to do a story about a relapse. I want to do a story about recovery. I want to do a story about Tony now trying to rebuild from that. like having to start counting his days over again, and how does he return to a life of sobriety, especially when this gets out. I mean, the argument, like if you were a cop and you were on duty and you were drunk, you wouldn't get to be a cop anymore. Right. If you're a bus driver and you were drunk, you wouldn't get to drive a bus anymore. Why should you get to pilot a $4 billion science fiction war suit that could kill a million people if you wanted to?
Yeah.
Why do you get to be Iron Man when you got drunk? And it's a question that maybe he doesn't get to do it anymore. So it's the story. The story's called Demon, and it's not just a callback to a demon in a glass bottle, but we've seen that now Mandarin and Ezekiel Stane are working together, and we get to see what they've been working on since the end of Resilient. And
it's been a while that
they've been in cahoots in a basement together, and basically Mandarin and Stane have been reinventing and revamping and upgrading all of Iron Man's old foes. So as his life is falling apart, one after the next, all these old, the kind of the classic rogues all come back and are teched out and teched up, and so it's more grinding,
more punishing this poor man.
But that's what the book's about, man. So it's a huge year for Iron Man, and Pascal Ferry comes back to Thor, and all the stuff in Thor deals immediately with all the fallout of Fear itself, and the Asgardians discovering that everything we thought was a lie, and all this kind of stuff. And there's this Tanaris guy who shows up, and those all kind of come out of the Shattered Heroes, the Fear itself 7.3, 7.2 stories.
Talk about keeping numbers straight.
Yeah, that's what they lost me. Yeah, that's advanced class even for me.
I feel like you're teaching people how to multiply and divide. Is the whole secret.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that, but they didn't want people to think like, oh, this is optional, because there's like Ed's Fear Itself 7.1 is the funeral for Bucky. It's a story we couldn't do in Fear Itself. It didn't make sense to stop, and it was Ed's story to tell anyway. So Ed gets to tell Bucky's funeral. Like, it's super important. It's a huge capbook, and it sets up Ed's next project. And the thing with Thor sets up the next year of Thor stories. You get to see what happens to the people that survive Fear Itself. What happens at the end? What price does Odin have to pay for lying about the serpent all these years? And then Iron Man and Odin fight, and it's basically Iron Man yelling at God again about why do you let bad things happen to good people?
That's the simple question. So at the end, coming out of Fear Itself, you're watching someone finish reading the book. What is the thesis they say coming out of it?
I don't want to blow it. I think it's in the book.
No, but not in it. But like, I guess like, I don't want because I don't want the spoiler either. But just like something that's like, that's what it was about.
Yeah, but I don't want to. I think that I don't want to. You should do that. Yeah, I don't want to put that in your head. You read it, and you find, if there's something for you to find, I hope you find it. I don't want to. I don't want to put too fine a point on it. But I think it's all in the book, and I think when you read it, especially, it comes home. And there's a couple of moments I'm really proud of, and Stuart and Wade and Laura destroyed the art. It looks so good. I couldn't be more proud, and I think it all fits together well. And hopefully you'll come away knowing or feeling feeling it.